the title of the article I chose to research about was Mitochondrial DNA that escapes from autophagy causes inflammation and heart failure. Here are a few heart disease statistics that I found. Every year, about 715,000 Americans have a heart attack. 600,000 people die from heart disease in the U.S. each year, which in turn is about 1 out of every 4 deaths. Heart disease is also the leading cause of death for both men and women, and most common is coronary heart disease. In an effort to attempt to find a cure for this disease that has been a huge problem for the United States for many years now, research was conducted. In an effort to gather the most accurate research as possible, these scientists decided to choose the most viable organism. In this case, it was mice. So they decided to examine wild-type mice and monitored pressure overload by thoracic transverse aortic constriction, TAC, induced cardiac hypertrophy. First, they studied the alteration of DNase-2 activity in the heart in response to an overload of pressure. Then they crossed 2 different mice, one with DNase-2A flox allele and another mouse that expressed the Cre gene. The offspring were then tested through TAC, and the data was then recorded. After many trials, these scientists were able to come to a conclusion with their results of their experiments. Based on the survival rate of the offspring mice, the researchers were able to come to the conclusion that DNase-2 plays a very significant part in stopping the pressure overload, induced heart failure, and myocarditis, which in the next following slides I will also show you their data. Figure 1 is located in the upper portion of the slide and represents the data from TAC-induced cardiomyopathy in DNase-2A negative mice. In Figure 2, below it, contains the data from pressure overload-induced inflammatory responses in DNase-2A negative mice 2 days after TAC. And these images represent survival ratios, heart appearances, and even heart sections. They also contain much more data as well. The figure to the left is Figure 3, and this contains data derived from the deposition of mitochondrial DNA in autolysosomes in pressure-overloaded DNase-2A negative hearts. And to the right is Figure 4, which contains data from the inhibition of TLR9 attenuated TAC-induced heart failures. How does this relate to biochemistry? This relates to biochemistry because of its impact on the lives of all types of organisms, and if a way to stop heart disease or a cure for it could be found, it would change the lives of thousands.